So, you brought me out here again to talk about some old game.
Yes, I love old games.
That I should care about.
Yes.
Why should I care about whatever game you're going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about Sacrifice, and the reason you should care about it is that it's still an amazing game today that way too few people seem to remember. And that's kind of bad, because it's actually a game that a lot of people should remember in the same regard as some of the old classics, like, I have to say it, StarCraft and strategy games from that period of time.
So how old is it?
It's 9 years.
90?
Yeah, 90 years. It was released before Pong.
Oh, okay.
So no, it's 9 years old, and it's done by Shiny, the company that also did MDK, Earthwor Jim, Messiah, and games like that. And actually, it's built on the same graphics technology as Messiah, and that's probably the first thing I should tell about it, because at the time this was just completely ridiculous technology, actually done by, I believe, a Swede who built this engine that was able to tell at all times where the player was looking. And that meant that all the processing power and 3D power, limited 3D power at that point in time, could be used on just drawing what you saw. And that allowed for some absolutely amazing graphics that actually today, 9 years later, still holds up pretty well. Okay. Also, it allowed for the designer of the game, a guy called Joby Otero, to do some really unique designs on the monsters and stuff like that. And just alone for the graphics, it's worth picking up today. The other thing, of course, and that's the most important, is that the gameplay is still really unique. It's a strategy game, but it's a strategy game in third person, set on these huge, sprawling 3D maps. The purpose of each game is the same as in every other strategy game, that you have to take over an enemy base and defeat enemies and stuff like that. But the way you do it is that you control this, his single player, he's called Eldar. You go out and you defeat enemies, but defeating enemies is not enough, because when you defeated them, they leave their soul, and you can use this magic called Sack Doctor, where you summon like a weird creature that has this like just big needle, and he sucks up the enemy souls, and he runs back to your altar and actually sacrifices the souls to the god you have chosen to work for, thereby giving you the souls that you can just that you can then resurrect as your own monsters. And this just gives a completely unique sort of gameplay, where you always have to go forward, push forward, and defeat enemies and maximize your own units.
All right. But 9 years, the strategy, even though it sounds pretty fun, strategy games have come a long way since the days of StarCraft. Strategy
games has, but only in the way that if we're talking about strategy games, only the way of, you know, Command and Conquer, StarCraft and stuff like that. Yes, we have seen a whole lot of refinements, but it's just that nothing new has really obtained like huge success. I would say that a game like or a mod like Dota is the closest thing that we come to a game like Sacrifice today, because yes, it is a strategy game, but it's something completely else. And that's one of the reasons that Sacrifice should really be remembered, because it was tremendously successful in what it did, not in sales unfortunately, but what it did, because the gameplay was well balanced and it was really fun, and nothing has really been done of that sort since.
Is there any way to get it these days?
Yeah, funny that you should mention it. Good Old Games, a fantastic website that can't recommend enough, specializes in taking old games and updating so that they can run on systems today. And they actually have included Sacrifice as one of the games, and it can be bought for like an insanely cheap price, like $6 or something like that, and downloaded with, they've done a really good job in including manuals and scans and everything, so awesome place.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So if you're really into real-time strategy games,
yeah,
a piece of history that you should.
Both that and if you just up for a really good game that tries something original, this is definitely a game you should try it. And I mean, at the price that it's currently priced, and I believe it's like 700 megabyte download. So for everyone with a ADSL line, shouldn't be a problem.
And it's 90 years old.
Yeah, 90 years. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing that they have 3D technology.
Yeah, but sacrifice is amazing.